Welcome to No Ideas Original Podcast, the sports version. I'm here with Theo and Reem. How you guys doing this week?
All is good.
Yes, sir. Same here.
Oh, that's great, man. We got love talking to you guys about sports. We got some things this week going on. Finally, the World Series is set. We know who's going to be in it. Who do you guys have? And to give me an idea how many games y'all think it's going to take.
I got the Braves 6 games.
Oh, okay.
Don't sleep on Houston, the Astros, but being a Yankees fan, I definitely can't root for the Astros. But I had the Braves early on in the playoffs once my Yankees got bumped. So I think Braves in 6.
Yeah, I'm pretty short, man. Braves any game after 4, 5, 6, or 7, man. As long as they win it, I'm happy with that, man.
Yeah, I can't go with Houston either or something. Even though, man, I hate to say it, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right,
It wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me.
right.
But I mean, I think the Braves should get in. I actually think it's going to go to full distance. This would be a long one. I think it'll be 7 games.
Hmm.
I hope the Braves win. I don't want to see Houston win at all. I mean, I looked at it with him. I'm glad the Braves beat the Dodgers. That was a close call.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
That was a
real
good
close.
series.
Yeah. So last night we had Jamel Herring and Shakur Stevens fight. What's his mom? Do you guys get a chance to check that one out?
Oh, yes.
I'll defer to Theo on this one.
The kid's a real deal, man. I was impressed, man. He stayed in the pocket. People thought he would, try to, stick and move. But Harry is a bona fide, pro fighter. He's a champion, of course.
Yeah,
Top 10 fighter in his weight class. So, anybody that makes a live in boxing has my respect, man. So,
yeah,
man, like he has 2 jobs, boxing and doing something else. So,
yeah,
but Shakur Stevens, he stayed in the pocket, man, and he fought toe to toe when need be. He was aggressive, and he knew when to stick and move, mixed
yeah,
it up. He has good defense. He's the real deal for sure.
yeah,
I was definitely impressed with him, man. I didn't think he would stop Herring though, but he did, man, and kind of like no contest really, man. It wasn't even that close. To my
yeah.
surprise.
I thought Stevens had it like he had control of the fight all the way through. Like I never
Hmm.
seen a point where Herring actually did anything that affected him. I mean, he had a couple of flashes, where he got a couple of flurries in, but
Hmm.
other than that, it wasn't anything that Heron did that was I didn't think he was that impressive at all. At least last night, I've seen him do better, have better fights than this. But
Right.
last night wasn't the fight for him. Who knows? Maybe that whole thing being in the same camp, the familiarity and stuff like that. Because I remember listening to Stevens talking about he knows everything that the guy's gonna do. He knows
Hmm.
everything he trained on, everything else. Maybe that familiarity actually hurt Heron.
Yeah, I can see that though. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
a lot of these guys do a lot of sparring, saying behind closed doors or private sessions or being somebody sparring partner doing training. So the familiarity with other fighters is definitely well known.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what do you think is next for Heron?
Sky's the limit, man. I mean, he could fight Haney, those guys, Haney, T.O., whoever's out there, he could fight them all.
Yeah. What's funny is that was a really localized flavor fight too. You had a guy from New York fighting a guy from Newark, so that
Hmm.
that was interesting.
Right.
Yeah, that's good to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was funny for the activity for Heron. The most interesting part of his whole fight might have been the walk in with Jadakiss.
I missed that part.
Yeah. So he came into Jada. They were actually there. Jadakiss was with him, and Quavo was with Stevens.
Mm.
So they actually paid. The crazy thing is that you got two guys paying these guys this type of money for 2 minutes on the walk-in.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Once the locks won that versus battle, right? The
Yeah,
price went
yeah,
up, like Fat Joe
yeah.
yeah,
said, right?
Hmm.
like yeah, this is a $50,000 walk.
Yeah, Jadakiss is everywhere right now, man. He's doing
Yeah,
everything, man.
yeah, he's everywhere doing it.
He's everywhere.
Good for him, man.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this week, listen, I know you guys seen this. It was and I'll just segue this into teams that are doing well in the NBA and teams that look a little disjointed. So let's start with the disjointed first. We got a chance to see Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard get mix it up not in a good way, mix it up on the bench. I mean, what do you guys think of the Lakers? Listen, the Lakers so far. I mean, even past the first game with Russell Westbrook and stuff. How do you guys think the Lakers are doing, and what do you think's going on with the Lakers right now?
So far, they look like a mess. Dating back to the preseason, they went 0 for 5 there, and now they're 0 for 2. I think they'll figure it out. It's still early in the season, but yeah, you got guys arguing on the bench, ready to fight each other. LeBron, I don't know if AD thought LeBron was going to jump in or something, but LeBron kind of like stood back. So that was kind of awkward to watch. But yeah, right now they look like a mess. But I think they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think I read or heard that had to do with more about Dwight Howard's body language on the court, not getting the ball in certain spots and stuff like that on the court. So, Anthony Davis didn't like that or appreciate that because he felt that he was showing up his teammates on the court. So I guess he wasn't getting the ball.
Yeah.
And because AD wanted to address that, So I guess Dwight Howard felt a certain way about it. But Dwight said, listen, they brothers, they love each other, cleared it up after the game or during the game. So, and plus, we've seen it before plenty of times, though. It get heated during games and tensions flare up a little bit, so understandable. But, and nothing like KD, and Draymond Green, man, to that level, though, thank God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they hashed it out, man, and hopefully for those guys' sake, it's all as well, man.
I mean, they got some funny stuff going on about that. One of the running jokes is that Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis was fighting because Dwight Howard was left off the top 75, and he was fighting him because it was his spot. They got that one, and then what's the deal with LeBron having to give Russell Westbrook a pep talk after game one? After game one, he had to give Russell Westbrook
told him take it easy or something, go enjoy your family, or it's only one game.
And Magic Johnson even chimed in, said in all his 42 years of being around the Lakers organization, he never seen people actually fight on the bench. He said he might have seen opposing teams, he might have seen guys fight in the locker room, but he never seen them actually fight each other on the bench or try to fight each other.
Fellas, he didn't see KD and Draymond a couple years ago. The whole world saw that.
He might be talking about the Lakers. Magic.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Magic talks about the Lakers.
Okay, makes sense.
So he probably told. Yeah, I think they'll work it out or something. There are some other jokes about them. They're comparing his team to the Kobe, Carmelo, Gary Payton team or something where you had
that was a mess.
Yeah, they're comparing this team to that. But time will tell. I think they'll pull it together. I'm just glad that Carmelo hasn't been involved in any of this foolishness, and his name hasn't come up.
Yeah, other than pump faking on the free throw line, right? Or whatever that was. He said the ball hit his forehead, and if he would have continued to shoot, it would have been an air ball. So he'd rather take the penalty.
Lakers follies. They're gonna be on Shaq and the Fool a lot this year. So we've seen the NBA top 75 come out, and there's some notable snubs. I mean, from Vince Carter to Grant Hill to Tracy McGrady, grating back to like some of the older guys. I don't know if George Idols or a couple of guys that people felt should have been on there that weren't. No Paul Gasol, no Manu Ginobili. I mean, it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough because we don't know what the criteria was and nobody was. But I always felt like this. Like, if I say somebody needs to go on, somebody's got to come off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's always the tough part. What did you guys think of like some of these guys being snubbed? And maybe a little bit. And after we talk about that, we'll get into this next thing because it's a valid point going on about Kyrie.
Yeah, like you said, in order to put somebody new on, somebody has to come off. So I think all of the guys who are on there seem pretty deserving. Like, just glancing at the list, I couldn't think of anybody where I was like, no way, this person belongs on the list. So everybody seemed pretty deserving. But some of the guys that you just mentioned, them being left off, though, does sound a bit crazy.
Dwight Howard,
like you said, Grant Hill, even Tracy McGrady. I mean, these guys, to me, definitely seem like they would be top 75.
Dwight Howard is deserving. But if you get
Yeah, me
Orlando,
too, I would say.
Dwight Howard is deserving. Matumbo, I think he got snubbed. Myself personally, you might say I'm a Georgetown
Yeah.
bias though, but Matumbo got snubbed for his play on the court and off the court for the game of
Didn't Yao
basketball.
Ming get snubbed too? I think Yao Ming got snubbed too.
Yeah, I mean got snubbed. But definitely Dwight Howard, Matumbo, the first two names that come to my mind as far as being snubbed.
Yeah.
Who should be deserving of being top 75. But I'm gonna ask you guys this, man. I don't think AD deserving at all. To tell you the truth.
Well, you know what's interesting? I think about what you're saying, and to some extent it makes sense because the only reason I could think of them leaving Grant Hill off is the body of work, the time frame. So Anthony Davis has been really, it's like somebody was complaining about Jokic being left off. But when I look at Jokic, I say, okay, he's been in the league for 6 years?
Mm-hmm.
We only knew who he was for the last 2.
Right.
You can't be one of the greatest players in 75 greatest players for the last 2 years. These guys been like, when you look at Anthony Davis, I don't think he has the body of work of Dwight Howard.
No, Howard, definitely has a much better.
Yeah, not comparable.
I mean, some of the stuff could but when you look at Grant Hill, because he got injured, his window was shorter or something. Who knows? They might have did the same thing with Tracy McGrady. I don't remember offhand. Did Penny Hardaway make the list?
No.
Nope.
Penny Hardaway didn't make the list. Grant Hill, Vince Carter, Adrian Dantley, Alex English.
So Alex English and Adrian Dantley, they had the longevity. They weren't always hurt, so I don't understand those. But some of these other guys, when you look at the guys that got injured, like a Penny, a Grant Hill, and all this stuff, they had great careers, but it was like for 4 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And the rest of the years they were either hurt or they only played a lot of games and stuff like that. So maybe they were counting that into it. But then you got the flip side of it. What was Vince Carter? Because he played too many years.
I think that might have rubbed some people the wrong way in terms of the voting. Because the last few years, right, he was in that mentor role or whatever it was.
Right.
I think Dwight Howard may have been plagued by that too, right? Because he was on Charlotte at one point. He was on Atlanta.
He played on like 8 teams, right?
Yeah, so he, kind of bounced around. We're thinking of the Orlando Magic, Dwight Howard, who's deserving just based on his time there.
Right.
You know what?
Then he had that first stint with the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
Got into some beef with Kobe or whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's probably why, if I had to guess, why he was left off. I still think he's deserving, but
I still definitely make a case for him though, because even when he's on the Lakers, he had good numbers, and when he's on Houston, he had pretty good numbers too.
That's another place. Yeah, I forgot he was even over there. Right, Houston, Charlotte.
Yeah, Dwight Howard had pretty good numbers up until maybe
Philadelphia.
Yeah, he had good numbers for a little bit. It just, I don't know. I mean, sometimes you look at Mutombo with his numbers. Maybe it's a personality contest. I was thinking too. Listen, I was looking at it like I would love to know the criteria, because if this was a sponsored thing, it can't be a sponsored thing, because I don't think Nike would leave Vince Carter off.
Right.
So who knows what this criteria is? But there's another thing floating around with this too. There's a thing where Kyrie Irving, if you Google what is net 75 or something like that, and it's a page where it's not there anymore, where Kyrie Irving was with him, I guess, said to be under 75, and he's not. Do we believe he's deserved? You think? I mean, look, yeah.
I don't know. Those years in Cleveland before LeBron went back, before the whole "I'm coming home" thing, Kyrie could score, but he wasn't much of a leader over there either. His teams didn't win. Then LeBron came home, right, and they won. He played well. Then he went over to Boston. That was a bit of a mess. He put up numbers, but that was a mess. Now he's on the Nets. That's a mess. I don't know. I wouldn't have personally picked him. Skills-wise, he's top 75, but it hasn't really materialized into wins or anything in leadership. is questionable too. I'm not even talking about the whole COVID thing. Just in general, he's had issues leading up to this whole COVID thing.
And I think Reem hit a lot of good points. Just want to add that Kyrie's not a guy who have a lot of assists too as well. He has a very low assist rate as well. We don't average. Think out that skill set who could create space and create space for others. Have at least average at least 7 assists a game at least. So he has a very low assist per game rate. And like Reem said, before LeBron got there, he was just a guy winning 20 games a year. So LeBron got there.
Yeah.
So once LeBron got there, of course, he shined a little bit here and there for a brief stint. Once LeBron left, he kind of faltered a little bit, got injured in Boston, and that didn't pan out too well. I was in Brooklyn right now, and Brooklyn's playing good without him. Like we said, skill-wise, he's definitely top 25, though, but I'm quite sure it's more about skill set to have somebody in that list.
So,
Yeah.
What's interesting, just listening to us talking, I think one of the things they probably factored in too that we're talking about now is the intangibles part of the game too. Like not only like statistics, like how's that translate into wins, and how do you stack up against your peers? Because that is true. You never hear about Kyrie Irving in those top 10 assist leaders for the league, even though he's been in the league for years. You don't hear about him being in that type, that type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And he definitely like. He's a good number two. He's
Right.
not a guy that's going to be probably one of the best number twos, but he's not a guy that's going to drive you to necessarily wins on his own or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Agree.
Yeah.
that could be something that they factored in there too. Like how did this person drive things or what they do? Even though that's still you're in life, the guy that still most looks snubbed in that is the Dwight Howard, because the Dwight Howard took him and Jameer Nelson took the Orlando Magic to the championship. Think about it. Can you name really a whole bunch of other people from that team besides him and Jameer Nelson?
Not really. No.
Yeah, I mean, I
Howard was a monster.
I could name the head coach who blew it for them by putting in Jameer Nelson when they should have left Skip Malone in that series.
Yeah,
Remember, Jameer was hurt that series. It was
Mm-hmm.
when Jameer got hurt and started Rayford Austin, man. They was ball out their mind, man.
Yep.
They had like a 2-1 lead.
Yep.
And the team made this switch to start Jameer Nelson.
Yep.
And it was a wrap after that, man. So I've been the coach, man.
Yeah, they definitely had opportunities. Dating back to last season, and we already talked about some of the Laker turmoil, and going into this season, the Lakers have now lost 7 consecutive games. Well, is that a reason for them to worry outside of the personalities on the bench? Should they be concerned?
I think they'll figure it out, but I think it is a cause for concern too at the same time, because you put together this roster, right, of all these guys who are supposedly superstars and this that, and I mean, granted, it's still early on, right? So nobody's saying cause for concern doesn't mean pack it in after 2 games or whatever they played.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I would say they need a win bad. They almost in a must win situation for me, just because there's so much spotlight on them. You got to get a win. Russell Westbrook, like you mentioned earlier, kind of needing a pep talk. You got the fight thing going on. There's just so much hoopla around this team. I think they need a win. So yeah, I think there's some cause for concern, but obviously being 2 games in, it's not like, oh man, we're no longer able to potentially compete for a finals appearance or whatever it is. They got to figure it out quick, I would say.
The cause for concern is probably a low rate for me. I probably have maybe a 2 out of 10. If it was the same exact roster as last year, then it'd be higher than that. But we got 10 new guys into a 12-man roster to it's to be expected, of course. But if the guys come out at least 500 next they play 20 games and they 10-10 or 25 and 18, then they'll be all right though. But right now, my concern is very low right now with the Lakers right now.
I think for me, what's more concerning for me than the Laker team itself is LeBron. Not his play, but this will be the first year. Like generally, LeBron plays with teams that he puts together, but those guys are
Mhm.
usually people that are more team oriented, that'll accept certain roles and do certain things. This year he's got some real strong personalities. I mean, he's got his personality, AD's itself, but now you got Russell Westbrook, Dwight Howard, and I'm sure if Carmelo doesn't like what's going on, he'll be voicing his opinion too. So he's
Mhm.
got some strong people on there, and it'll probably be a little tougher to rein. If like in previous years, I could see LeBron, maybe being able to rein some stuff in, but this might be a little more challenging for him this year. Than any other year, probably in his whole career, because
And
this is a real cast of personalities. Like we've seen Westbrook just go off the rail. I don't know if he'll be able to rein him in that easily. This is not Dennis Schroeder.
plus another guy with a personality over there too is Rondo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's another guy.
So you
Plus
got
their bench too is like relatively young. At least the guys who are filling in now, right? Malik Monk.
yeah
Um, uh, you got Horton Tucker out, right? They got a
yeah
couple of injuries.
Yeah.
Dunn is out, so their
Yeah.
roster, the guys who are playing now, might not necessarily be the guys off the bench that are playing, in
yeah
a couple of weeks.
yeah. You
So that's
got
another thing to factor in. The one
Bazemore.
thing I guess that's even more concerning, like you said, is LeBron, which is good. He's making a good percentage of them, but he's taking more jump shots than I ever seen him take. So
Yeah
that's a little bit of a concern. Granted, he's making a good portion now, but I still want to see LeBron get into that basket. Right
Yeah.
now,
LeBron.
he's taking. I think one game he took like 10 threes already.
Yeah. I think you can see in his game. He slowed down a little bit. You can see he's slowing down a little bit. For he's not. So he's supposed to though, but he's not going full speed ahead.
yeah
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe his jump ability was lowered a little bit. How far he should jump, he still could finish strong to the hoop.
hmm
But he's an improved jump shooter though, so I can see why he's shooting all those threes in a 3 point era, so to speak.
yeah
Um, the key for I think LeBron will get it done once these guys come healthy again. Bazemore, these guys, Meek Monk, the kid Nunn,
yeah
so I think they get it done. But LeBron, right now, he's probably on cruise control right now, so to speak. He's trying, just by the time God come healthy again and see what's going on. So he's just on cruise control, just keep him low for now.
I can believe that was him. He's pacing him still. I,
Hmm.
my only concern is the players around. Like a guy like Westbrook, it's real hard to rein him in, and once you lose him, it's gonna be tough to bring him back to the fold.
plus they can't afford to see like Anthony Davis, let's say, get hurt or anything like that. Because right now I don't know who you like fill in to replace him if he gets hurt.
I don't think there is a replacement right now. I think they made some deals, and I think they might have got some guys like that that can do some things or something, probably at a more bargain place, some cap friendly stuff and things like that. But I don't know if they all mesh or something. I think
Yeah,
they're
this
good
is kind of like
players.
the most awkward LeBron type of team because usually he has those shooters around him. Now you got Russell Westbrook, who's kind of like clogging the paint a little, right? Because he can't really shoot. I don't know who the shooters are right now.
Who's going plus two? Who's going to defend anybody on that team?
Right.
Kent Bazemore. I mean that. I mean, don't get me wrong. LeBron defends. I never knock his defense because he works.
Yeah, LeBron, Rondo, AD.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do, but like it's not. I don't think it's enough hustle guys. I don't know. It's a different team. I think
and
LeBron is probably right to pace himself because I think towards the end of the season he's gonna have to do a lot.
What about Ariza until he comes back?
I
yeah,
think
that's
he'll,
true.
I think
Yeah,
he'll,
he's a good intangible guy. He's another guy that's out that
I
ankle
think he'll
injury,
be
but
helpful. I'm just interested to see how you get these guys out there, and unless you got a box score where everybody's shooting 14 shots a game or 12 shots, how do you keep these guys engaged? Like I don't think Carmelo, like a guy like Carmelo, everybody says they just want to win, but that's good to say that until you play 8 minutes and get two attempts.
Right.
How you gonna fill in? Rondo's one of the guys I don't think he would care. And Bazemore, nobody, those type of guys, nobody cares what they think. But I'm pretty much sure Russell Westbrook cares. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's
think
still looking to get
I
his
wouldn't say
numbers.
all that. But yeah, he's a numbers guy. I believe he is.
Carmelo,
I
I
don't.
think Carmelo has kind of accepted that back seat. He's not out there, let's say, trying to get 20.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I don't think he wants to be out there, like you said, running up and down the court without touching the ball.
yeah.
He's not trying to go 10 possessions up and down,
Mm-hmm.
without getting the shot or two off.
Yeah, because
Let
I
me ask you
look
guys,
the
I'm
late.
sorry.
God,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Phil. Let me ask you guys a question before I forget.
yeah,
Are the Lakers a half court team or a running gun team? Because it seems like you're trying to be a running gun team,
yeah.
but the speed limit is slower than everybody else's running gun style of play. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm
Oh,
saying
yeah.
it wrong.
No, you're right. A running slow team.
Yeah, exactly. They're running slow. Like your Golden State is running up and down the court.
No,
You
you
know,
absolutely
the
right.
Rockets, these
Oh,
teams
yeah.
run. It's like y'all don't have the same kind of style, but you guys going like 50 miles per hour. Everybody else is going 85, 90. You
That's
know,
true.
so
That's a good
they
point.
they have
Yeah,
a dilemma, man. Like do Melo want to run up and down the court? Do LeBron want to run up and down the
yeah,
court? You know, young guys want to run up. Rondo don't mind. Rondo and
yeah,
Nunn and Bazemore, the other guys, Ariza, they don't mind.
yeah.
Maybe AD a little bit. You got DeAndre Jordan probably don't want to run up and down the court like that.
No, I doubt that.
You know, saying Dwight Howard either. You know, he wants to do a little half court and dunk on somebody's head. You know, saying he don't want to run up and down the
You know
court like
what?
that. So they're kind of caught. You know, 40 yards identity wise. I think.
I think you're right because I think that I don't even know, like you said, I don't know if the players fit the style of play. Like you
Mm.
said, you got a bunch of guys that like. Well, I hate to say it, but 75 or 80% of the rosters past their prime, well past. So I mean, now if don't get me wrong, this was 7 years ago. You have some thoroughbreds or something. But right now, I mean, a lot of people long in the tooth, great,
Yeah.
Yeah. If this was 7 years ago, we'd be talking about how this team may be
best ever
a
there.
dynasty or something.
Like I would tell you this, like you said, I don't even know if LeBron will be. That's probably why. Like, listen, yeah, you got to pace yourself. I don't see LeBron wanting to run full speed for 82 games. What's gonna happen in the playoffs? Because the
Right.
first time he played, I looked at the box score. I'm like, they have no chance of winning. LeBron had 33 and 80 had 34, and the next closest guy was 6. I'm like, you know what? I'll take that every game I'm playing against them. They have no chance of winning if two guys got to score.
Right.
I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna flip it over too. Don't get me wrong. We over here talking about the Lakers. The Nets got the same thing. I don't know what's going on with James Harden, but KD can't average 40 something points for them to win and lead them in every statistical category because the rest of those guys ain't doing nothing out there.
And KD pretty much made some statement today or yesterday, recently saying that the whole Kyrie, we can't sit and wait. Basically, Kyrie's not coming to save us.
Yeah.
So they already resigned to the fact that he's probably done for the year, more than likely.
Yeah.
Like you said, I don't know what Harden.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the fouls or like that new rule is in his head or something.
It is
Usually he's getting at least 10 free throws off of that a game.
Yeah.
So now he's not getting those. I don't know if that's what's like causing him to be a little apprehensive but right now that team they got some issues too.
Yeah, Harder never got those calls in the first place.
I agree.
Never should have those calls whether it was Houston or whoever he plays for OKC. He should never got those calls in the first place, man. I'm glad it's going. Just play ball, man. You'll get tricked out regardless. Just play ball.
He's getting a lot of offensive fouls called now too. A lot of them. So he's got to adjust to something. He got to do it quick because you guys know I watch the net games and I'm like, yeah, how could KD have 46 or something, and then he had a triple double with 32, and today he had 38. I mean, what else can he do? I mean, you can't right now. He average, I think, like 38 points a game or something. That's not enough. Listen, KD, we need you to get that average up to 50 for us to compete. And the Sixers game, let me tell you, the Sixers game, I watched it, and I can tell you right now, as much as Ben Simmons is sitting out, they need him too. They do need Ben Simmons because they're not the same defensively without Ben Simmons at all. Because they
And
like
the Nets.
they basically they basically they led that game against the Nets, and then the Nets decided to wake up like they always try to do at the beginning of the fourth, and the game was over basically.
Yeah, because the Nets should have lost that one. They should have been
Yeah.
That's
probably
right.
0-3.
That's right.
Yeah, 0-3. So the Sixers and the Nets both need to figure something out right now.
Brooklyn, a team that has depth of size.
Well,
Don't seem like it though.
they got old people too. They already got people getting hurt. Like today, Blake Griffin didn't play. I'm like, dude, this is game 3. You can't be on load management in game 3.
Yeah, he's out for rest.
It's funny you say that. The game against Philly.
Yeah.
I watched the game. He was doing the ball up court. He looked so slow, and it looked like it hurt him so much to put the ball through his leg. I think Embiid was trying to run him down.
Yeah.
While I was trying to run a fast break. He looked so slow and looked like, it took him like 10 minutes to put the ball through his legs, man. I was like, yeah, Blake, man, his legs are gone, man.
How do you have load management in game 3?
3.
We already sitting out for rest in game 3. I'm like, come on, man. Game 3.
Yeah. They don't have size or depth, man. Especially depth-wise. They don't have it, man.
There's a whole host of teams that things are like, don't get me wrong, it's early in the season, but I got to give them their kudos. Like the Knicks are playing well. They're playing well, but who would have thought that when you looked at it, you would have the Washington Wizards, the Chicago Bulls, the Charlotte Hornets. I kind of thought the Hornets would be pretty good.
Yeah, they're like you said, those teams are exciting to watch right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're exciting to watch. The Hornets, right? Like you said, Chicago, Caruso, right, is balling. DeRozan looks like he's back in Toronto.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They look good.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, on the flip side, some of the teams that we thought was like shoo-ins, like I'm looking at Indiana and I'm like, these dudes ain't making the playoffs. They're not making it this year. I mean, not with the roster. I mean, again, Karis LeVert is not playing. No surprise there. TJ Warren's not playing. I mean, at some point, I will say this: the dude they drafted, Duarte,
he's good.
He's good. Yeah, he's official. He went from college to starting, and he looked like he belonged. So
yeah, the dude is already like 24, 25. So
he's a grown man. Older. A hell out of college players.
Yeah, he can't afford to spend 3 years developing at 24 years old coming into the league.
The league is funny because we just saw the Heat just put up 40 on somebody, Miami Heat, the other day, and then he gets smoked by the Pacers yesterday.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand that, man. So the NBA, is you can't really call it, man. You can't really call it right now. Yeah, right now the Knicks is down by 4 points right now against the team. They just smoked by 30, Orlando.
Yeah,
now they're home and they're in a dogfight, so to speak, right now in the fourth quarter right now. So.
Well, you got Minnesota's undefeated. Denver, okay, I get that. Memphis, Utah, Denver and Memphis. We not Denver, but Denver and Utah we would expect. Golden State looks like they're playing pretty well.
Yeah.
They are playing well. Golden State look different, man.
Yeah, to me, Dallas looks a little off.
Dallas, some of these teams, they just I don't know if all the time you always hear the players mention that the preseason not important, they not do this, but it seems like a lot of these teams are just not ready to play. And even teams that's playing well, because you know how Tibbs is, he always got something to say. We not ready. This is not the final version. But I give him credit. At least they show up every night. But
agreed.
I mean, watching some of these other games, like different teams, some teams are hard to watch because they look like they're going through the motions or something's wrong or something's missing. Like even watching the Hawks, I don't know what the Hawks were doing. I mean, is the new rotations? This guy's crazy. Is this guy hurt? The center, what's his name?
Capella?
Yeah, is he hurt?
He wasn't hurt the other day. I seen him out there.
I watched Atlanta play. Who was it? And they just Capella wasn't out there. It's almost like some of these teams are trying to disrespect some of these other teams, and then they end up losing. Like, oh
Mm.
yeah, we just playing this team so we could rest some guys, and then they go out there and get their behinds whooped.
Yeah. It's like
I
what
seen
happens.
Trey Young doing his typical where he
Yeah,
stops and jumps back. Sometimes he's still getting
they're
that
not giving
call. I
that
think
to
he
him.
he bust
Yeah,
didn't
sometimes
he
they
bust
still
Tim
give it
Hardaway
to him.
Jr.'s chin open. Hardaway Jr.
Mm.
Yeah,
had to get stitches because Trey Young jumped, did the jump back, and he still got the call on it too.
yeah, I would have been pissed.
But you know what? I would say the refs, besides those kind of non-basketball movements, the refs are letting a lot of calls, like a lot of things, go, a lot of contact. I don't know if I like this. This is some of these calls, these no calls, getting out of hand.
Well, that's why James Harden was complaining because he every play. Well, James Harden's got he needs to go back to some extent to young kid basketball. The coach should be on his ass because here's the thing, right? Every time he gets knocked to the floor, he sits there. He sits there,
Mm.
he complains, and the ball's going back down the other end of the court. Get up.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in the backcourt sitting there complaining and 5-on-4s on the other end.
I guess it's one of those things where you ain't gonna play no defense on the other end anyway. So what difference does it make?
Get up. And it seemed like this were from the Nets. It seemed like some of the judge Harris is still stuck in last year. He can't make nothing.
Yeah.
Then the dude that was hustling, he was out of the rotation. Bruce Brown. That's the first time I seen him get to play this year.
Yeah, he
Mm.
had Javon Carter was taking his minutes.
Yeah,
For some
Javon.
reason.
Yeah.
I like Carter's defense, but I would have probably kept
Bruce.
Brown in there.
Yeah, Carter doesn't give anything else besides that. He hit a couple of shots. They don't seem like they're losing LaMarcus Aldridge right or something. Aldridge the other night when he played Philly, they gave him the ball.
He
Went
kind
out
of dominated too.
Yeah. And then the other nights, it's like, all right, he's in that same position like Dwight Howard. He might get 15 shots tonight. No, Dwight Howard ain't never getting 15 shots, but he might get 15 tonight, and then he'll get 4 the next night. You don't bring guys in like that can still play and do that to him. Millsap, ain't he injured or what the hell's going on with him?
I seen him out there today. He hit a couple of threes, but those guys, I don't know. The Nets are the second oldest team in the league to the Lakers, I think, something like that. And I think it's showing.
I think both them teams they're gonna play in the championship in wheelchairs.
And for some reason, the Nets players, they look like extra. They look even older than the Lakers players to me.
I saw a stat which says that Brooklyn is actually older than the Lakers, man, by I guess a half a year.
They might be.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, you think about it. They got Griffin, Millsap, Aldridge. I think Aldridge is 35?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
35. Yeah. Griffin is older than Durant too. Durant is 33. Harden is 32 or something. He's in his 30s.
Right, yeah.
Kyrie's over 30. Joe Harris, I think, is over 32.
Yeah, right now they don't have
Cam Thomas and Deron Payne. That's about it. Everybody else, the whole roster.
Yeah, Nick Claxton.
They got and the rook. Yeah, they got 4 guys that have been drafted in the last 2 years. That's under 30. Everybody else is over 30. Javon Carter.
Crazy is 30, they could have used right now. I'm looking at it, they could have probably used DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah,
Patty. Yeah.
Right, because he would have at least been able to suit up.
You know what? I think I'm making this prediction. I don't know if they got to win it, but if they don't make it this year, the Steve Nash experiment's going to be over.
Agreed.
Yeah, it'll be over. Because I don't think he's a good coach. I watch some of the things he does, the substitutions and the patterns. It doesn't make basketball sense. Like, I don't know if he's being loyal to players or he just doesn't understand, or somebody like he's playing players like they're on a minutes restriction where you got a guy like when you make subs, people sub people out. Like I'll give a perfect example that's good with Tibbs. It'll be times like you'll see a team come out there. Like I remember the other day, Barrett didn't come out to start that was him. He didn't come out in the fourth quarter or whatever. He switched it up because Barrett wasn't doing nothing out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember the other day, somebody else didn't come in and top and they stayed out because they wasn't doing nothing. Kemba wasn't doing nothing. He sat Kemba down. You can't just be putting guys in. Oh, this guy's the starter, and we got 5 minutes left in the fourth. Let me just put him back in. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Guys in that's playing well. He ain't playing well. He got to sit down. There's only two people on the Nets that got that deal: Durant and Harden. Everybody else, you need to be playing well. Else, when it comes down to it, you're not at a point like there's no loyalty to those guys having on the court. For me, if I'm looking at a guy like Joe Harris, dude, if you out there and you over 8 on threes, your night is over to me. That's the second quarter.
Yeah, because he doesn't do anything else.
You don't do nothing else. You ain't
No
hit the shot.
defense.
Yeah, I can't have you out there. And that's it. I can get somebody out there to shoot 0 for 8.
Plus Harden too. Like Harden, besides not getting those calls, which we know he does anyway, but he's pounding that ball so much.
Yeah, people standing around again, late second shots. I mean, the craziest thing is Harden's best defensive play is against big players.
Mm.
And I think Harden was able to get away with that in Houston because he had like a lot of shooters around the perimeter. So he was able to dump off and a lot of those bailout threes and all type of stuff. But now the Nets, their team isn't really built for that.
No.
So him pounding the ball for 18 seconds and then dishing off, these guys can't really shoot. They're not, Joe Harris is, I guess, a 3-point shooter, but who else is?
And he's not making them. I mean,
who else is actually a shooter?
I wouldn't be surprised to see that young kid get to play soon. Cam Thomas, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. At the very least, he could put the ball in the hole.
Yeah. They need somebody to score.
But you know what, fellas, KD and Kyrie got what they wanted.
Yeah.
Steve Nash. So you can't get mad at Steve Nash because he's showing his inexperience on the sidelines. You got what you asked for.
Yeah.
If you get what you wanted, it's not working out. I'm gonna blame him. I'm gonna blame you guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame KD and Kyrie before I blame Steve Nash.
Some of these other coaches, I got to give them credit for seeming to be playing smart too. Like the guy on Charlotte, Borrego. Remember last year they started PJ Washington. He looked at the roster and said, "This is not, that's not going to work." So now Washington's coming off the bench, and he seemed like he's showing his rotation, and so it looks like he's improved. Like some coaches look like they're improving and understanding stuff. Like even in Minnesota, like they made some different changes as how they do the lineup and stuff. But I think too coaches could grow and get better too. And I think some voices. I think the guy that the dude they hired in Washington, he's helping them out. I think he's got them motivated. Like you got Kuzma playing really well for them or something. He may not be scoring all the time, but he's doing different things. Harrell's playing well for him, but they have roles. I don't think Steve Nash, other than superstars, the players don't know their roles.
Certainly seems that way.
Yeah, and then you look at a lot of teams, like is like some of the dynamics. I think we talked about the contracts and stuff like that is messing up the sports too. Because when you look at it, like let's say I'm in the last year of my deal. Like I watched the Cavaliers, right? The Cavaliers didn't make any offer to Sexton at all. None. So right now when he's on the court, he's thinking, I gotta do something here.
Yeah, I gotta get mine.
Yeah,
he was already thinking that regardless, but now he's really thinking it.
Yeah, so they gotta really restructure or think about how these things are. If you don't plan on offering a guy anything, you gotta trade him.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I would because he's not looking out there for the team, and those guys are playing better too. You look at the guy they drafted, Mobley. The guy from Jared Allen, Kevin Love is playing decently or something. All of them, Okoro, those guys are really, really playing hard. But I watched Sexton like throw up some crazy stuff, like 3 or 4 down the trips down the court. I even heard that I don't even think his teammates like him or something crazy like that. Because I've never heard of somebody not get offered anything. They didn't even talk to him.
And then this dude is out, right? Garland.
Yeah, Garland's out.
Yeah, he's out.
Yeah, so I don't even know how that's going to work. But even other things, you see Memphis made the change. I think isn't Dylan Brooks coming off the bench now for Desmond Bane?
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Bane's a better shooter though. I can see that. He opens the floor with his shooting ability.
I think Desmond Bane might be the starter now. So
he can shoot though, that's for sure.
I guess coaches went home and decided, listen, I'm not getting fired.
Right.
keep you on the court. I'm gonna make because I was surprised they traded this dude Valanciunas. I was surprised they traded him.
Yeah, that was a little shocker.
Yeah, and he was playing well for them, I thought, too. He's playing well now for the Pelicans. I don't think that's what they need over there because it's another guy clogging the paint up with Zion there, but he's playing well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you all a trade scenario I've seen involving that. I heard of a deal that where what's the name? We're talking about Kyrie Irving for Valanciunas, Devontae Graham, and a first-round pick. Would you do that? I think if the Pelicans would do it, I probably would.
Yeah,
I would do that.
That would help the Nets out dramatically because I don't think point guard is where they need the help at.
Mm-hmm.
But bringing in Valanciunas to be the everyday starter at center, I think that would be good.
that would be a big help.
And
The only thing I would say with it is if you're the Nets, like it's not a flashy name.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
So they may be, if you're going to get rid of them, they may be thinking along the lines of we got to make a splash, right?
We got to try to get Bradley Beal. Everybody in the world thinks they're going to get Bradley Beal for some reason. Yeah, every team's getting Bradley Beal next year.
Right.
Either that or they're thinking about and KD supposedly already turned it down, right? The whole Ben Simmons thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Not for nothing. You can't take a guy who can't handle being booed in Philly and move him to New York. That man, he needs to go play someplace like he should go to OKC or something like that.
Plus, I don't know what he would actually add to them. They can't score now.
Yeah,
that's why KD is averaging 38 or whatever it is in the first 3 games. So now you bring him in, you get the flashy name, but he can't score.
No, you figure you imagine him and James Harden. You can get another basketball out there, 2 guys that want to have the ball in their hands every second on the court at the same time.
He would improve them defensively, I guess, but I don't think right now they could stand to get better there too. But I think right now, believe it or not, as crazy as it sounds, it's the offense.
Right.
Who would have thought that going into the season? We thought they were a lock on the offensive end.
Who would have thought you would say this? I'd rather have Valanciunas than Ben Simmons. Because Valanciunas is going to go out there. He's going to get his 16 points, his 10 rebounds. He's going to play defense. He's going to be tough. He's not going to care about the crowd booing. He's not going to care that he can't get 25. If KD yells at him, he's not going to care. None of that stuff is going to matter to him. The first time KD turns around and does this joint to Ben Simmons, like, what are you doing? They might as well get the trade papers going because he's going to be like, this guy doesn't like me, the crowd. I can't play here. Yeah. This dude had the nerve to say he wanted his own team. I'm looking through the NBA. I'm like, I don't know what team you could go to averaging 12 points a game, 12 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists and be the man on the team. I don't think that team exists.
He has his own team. Philly is his own team.
Yeah, they played through him, and he wants more than that. Embiid said that.
Yeah, I don't know where he could go, where he would like jump in and be the man on the team.
I don't think there's any place.
Toronto. I think he might be maybe able to bump out Van Fleet, right? Isn't Van Fleet considered like the Scotty Barnes, the kid they just drafted? But it used to be Siakam, but I don't even. Is he still playing? I don't even know what's going on with him.
For a guy who got the previous coach fired and Jimmy Butler traded, now all of a sudden he wants his own team. Give me a break.
Maybe
you have your own team.
Pacers?
You know what I don't like that he's doing too is you didn't hear his newest thing about some kind of mental illness. He can't handle it. I mean,
I've seen that.
There's people who really have mental illness out there. Yeah. And for you to take and just throw that out there as a reason why you don't. I mean, you really grasp it. That's not cool at all.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that one. He's not mentally prepared. Dude, you're never gonna be mentally prepared. They paying you millions of dollars. Like, there's dudes who get booed every time they get on the court, even before they do anything. They don't.
That's true.
Yeah, you gotta suck it up. I mean, people love playing in the Garden, but the Garden is one of the toughest crowds to be around. If you stink, they're gonna let you know about it.
Right. That's it. It feels the same way, so I don't get that. How you not used to that by now?
Yeah, if you're not performing, you're gonna know about it. New York sports, this is not the place to come to if you can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna know you ain't performing or something. And that's crazy. So another team that's interested in something, and I think I started seeing it last year, and I think it really came up, is Jaylen Brown the best player on the Celtics?
He's looking the part so far. You know, I know a lot of people, huge Tatum fans, and I like him too. But Jaylen Brown right now is looking the part.
I know quite a few Boston fans that I've been hearing this for the last couple of years, man. Guys, I watch Boston games when they come on in the area, play the Knicks or
Yeah,
Brooklyn like that. But I know quite a few Boston fans watch almost every game, man. And I've been hearing that for a while, man. So, I right now he looks the part for sure, and it seems like he just plays harder than
that's
Tatum does.
that's you
You
know
know, it
that's
seems
what
like I'm sorry, it seems like Tatum just settles for a lot of jump shots, man. He created shots, saying get over, but he just set up for the jump shot with Jalen. He's attacking the basket, shoot a three, he's doing everything, so as far offensive wise, he's settling for just jump shots.
you know what's strange about it. It's almost like Tatum feels like he's a superstar or whatever. So he plays in a way like he's a superstar where he expects calls, he expects things to happen and stuff. Whereas Brown just goes out and plays. He don't care who's out there, whatever. He plays hard and everything. But Tatum,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm gonna make my move. I'm gonna take my
Mm-hmm.
shot. I got grazed. They didn't make the call.
Right.
I'm gonna jog back or something. Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. Jaylen Brown, you can see he plays hard all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is. I think he's definitely the best right now. And last season, for a long stretch, he was the best too.
Yeah.
Tatum had some explosive games last
Yeah,
season where he kind of sort of looked the part, but I don't know. Like you said, I think Jaylen Brown at least seems like he's out there playing harder.
yeah. And you know what's funny? In cities, in cities, we appreciate people that play hard. So even if Tatum might be the more talented of the two, it was saying people appreciate when you see a guy actually working.
And the crazy thing is, I don't even know if he's that. I don't even know if he's the most talented.
Yeah, that's true too.
When you look at it, I like from the offensive side of the ball, I can't think of what he necessarily does better than Jaylen Brown. I don't think he's more
Mm.
explosive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
No,
his ball handling is as good. I don't think his jump shot, maybe his post up game. And that's because Brown doesn't really post up too much. But you may be able to say the whole post up game. He may have maybe a better mid range game.
yeah,
And then defensively, I think Jaylen Brown is better too.
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
I definitely think so.
Maybe being on an Olympic team, what I'm saying, USA team, it does give you a big head, so to speak. You never know. That could be true as well.
That's true. Yeah, I
And I
got a
think
question.
like I think Boston kind of sort of like they it's almost like they gave up on Jaylen Brown in terms of being that type of guy, like too
Yeah,
early, I would say, because he came in, he didn't have explosive, start to his career, but the guy is still extremely young. It's almost like
Yes.
they moved on, they jumped on the Jason Tatum bandwagon before giving this guy a chance to even, um, you know, be in that position to be the man.
yeah. I agree with that.
Like they started anointing Tatum early, you know.
So
Once he
basically,
caught that dunk in the playoffs against LeBron and bumped up against him,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Tatum's team.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he was a superstar. Hey, I got a question for you guys. As Knick fans, and I'm gonna tell you guys my opinion of it afterwards. Do you feel comfortable with the shot distribution on the Knicks right now? Like, do you feel comfortable with how the shots are going? Because I'll just give you my opinion. I don't understand how you pay a guy or give a guy like Kemba the rest of the money of the contract, and he has a game where he's taking more than 8 shots. But yet and still, we got Barrett who shoots okay. We got, don't get me wrong, Fournier, I will knock him. Everybody, it's like 4 guys or 5 guys on that roster who get more attempts than Kemba Walker. I mean, how do you guys feel about that?
I don't know. It's a little strange so far. I think they look good. I'm excited the way they're playing, but it's a little strange in terms of like I still don't know what they're trying to do offensively. I like that they're shooting more threes, they're making more threes. We hit 24 threes in the last game, which was a franchise record. So I like that. But at the same time, I think it's kind of sort of stunting Barrett's growth a little bit because he doesn't really fit into the equation in this particular offense that they're running. Randall, I can't really. Randall's not really forcing shots like he was year one. He still looks pretty good, I would say. Occasionally he's out there, a little out of control, but it's not really him. I don't know. It's a little strange, the offense. I think they need to like mix it up a little more, like you said, get some other guys involved. Like I don't know what their main when they come down court. I don't know what their main objective is on offense.
Um, Kimba is so like Kyrie in a little way. He's more of a scoring point guard, a guy that do all the scoring. They worry about uh guys getting over taking a lot of shots. But now that he's playing for a team where I guess he's trying to work on not being a offensive minded point guard, so to speak. When you want better talent, as if the head coach wants you to move the ball around. Because remember, he's playing a point guard position right now. So playing a point guard, some guys is either a scoring point guard or a guy who facilitates. So I think he's in the middle of a transition period of knowing when to score and trying to work on his game, trying to get guys in the right place and pass the ball around to the right guys like Randall or RJ Barrett, get guys in the right space on the court. So I think he's trying to just fit into the team right now. Knowing the team is talented and get high expectations. So I think right now he's trying to fit in more than anything else. When he get comfortable, he'll do his thing.
Because I can agree with him trying to fit in comfortable, but I will tell you this: if at the 20-game mark you can still look and see Randall taking 22 attempts and Kimba taking 8, and you got Fournier, you got Obi Toppin, Burks, Rose, and Barrett
Right.
taking more attempts than he is, that's not a sustainable way to win. They're not going to win with that because listen, if you look at it, you go back, Kimba's one of the most clutch players in the fourth quarter in the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
not just for the Knicks in the NBA. And I don't think he's going to be able to cut the switch on come time to playoffs or something after not because the reason that Kimba's even on this team is because these guys that shooting all these shots now didn't show up. So don't show up and show out in the regular season and then not show up. And now the
Mm-hmm.
guy we need to show up and show out, he's not ready to do it because you done bombed away in the season.
And I
Because
think part of it too, even though it's early in the season, I think they're kind of doing the whole almost probably like a load management. Let's preserve this guy.
yeah, I can believe
Um,
that.
yeah, and don't burn
Makes
him out.
sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Because his minutes, I know one game he played like some crazy amount of minutes, maybe that double overtime game. He was out there for 30 something minutes, 38
Yeah,
minutes. And I thought even in that one, I thought that's when Tibbs should have pulled him, right?
yeah, he was tired.
He had some bad turnovers at the end of that game that almost cost us.
That was really
You know?
bad.
And
Yeah,
he looked like he was exhausted out there.
yeah, he was
And
definitely
I
down.
think everybody's kind of in that mode of just figuring things out. But so far, I like the way they look. Struggling tonight.
I
Mm-hmm.
will
You
tell you this,
mentioned earlier, you were smacking this team the other night and then now struggling. But it just goes to show teams make adjustments too, right?
yeah,
Right.
So Orlando, whatever they seen in the Knicks offense and defense for that matter, they made adjustments. And so far they seem to have made the bigger adjustment than the Knicks did. Maybe the Knicks went out there with a similar mindset of we can do the same thing again. And it's not working this time.
Right.
I gotta say this. I gotta give him his credit with him. Cole Anthony showing out 27, 16, and 8.
And
So
that's one of the things that is difficult about playing the same team.
back to back.
Yeah, back to back like that, right? Because they make adjustments on the fly based on what they literally just seen you do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If we
And you
would have
don't have
played the same team a week
yeah.
from now, we might have smacked them again.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because they done played so many other teams in between that. And
Mm-hmm.
now, we're playing
That's
them back
true.
to back. It's fresh. What we just did to them is fresh in their minds in terms of the embarrassment
Yeah.
and in terms of how we played the game plan.
Yeah. People have pride too, especially, different things. And then the whole joke. I don't know if you guys heard about the Julius Randle thing with Wendell Carter telling him to shut up, you're getting your ass whooped by 30. or something. He was saying something to Randall during that first game, and Randall told him to shut up. They got a little spat or something where. So I'm sure these dudes have pride too. You just got blown out and dudes is talking or something. So
Right.
you know what? I'm
One
gonna come
thing
back
that's nice to see regarding these two teams is New York in general is being represented well, right? The amount of players you got: Cole Anthony, Mo Bamba, Obi Toppin.
Obi Toppin. Right? You got this dude. He's not playing.
Of
Jonathan
course,
Isaacs.
Kemba. We know, right?
Kemba, Jonathan Isaacs. I think Orlando might have the most New York players on the roster, probably.
We got the big who just came back, right? On the Knicks.
Yeah,
he's from Queens, right? What's his name again? This is his first game back. He was out.
Taj?
Yeah, exactly. Gibson, right? He's from New York, Queens, right?
New York is well represented in this game. This is a good game for us. this the team. It seems like Orlando likes New York players too, because Bamba and Cole Anthony were both on the PSA Cardinals together.
Nice.
Yeah. So they playing.
Let me ask you this though. What? Because I thought when they drafted Suggs, it was kind of strange to begin with.
Yeah.
It felt like they wanted Toronto. They were shocked that Toronto didn't go with Suggs because I think they probably had in their mind we're going to draft Barnes.
Yeah.
So now, because I never thought Suggs and Cole Anthony can play together long term. I don't think that's
well, they're not going to.
But one of them got to go, I think. And Cole Anthony right now is not, looking like he's willing to pack his bags or just roll over.
I could understand it. At one point, they had some rumors about Cole Anthony possibly going to Boston, but the thought process on Cole Anthony, and I think Theo brought it up earlier. We were talking about Theo said something into effect about being a point guard or a combo guard. I think everybody's perception of Cole Anthony was always a combo guard, and I think if you look at Cole Anthony and you look at the Celtics, he couldn't go there and be this guy you see tonight there. Now with Jaylen Brown and Tatum and Marcus Smart, those type of guys.
Yeah, he'd be over there. He would be Carson Edwards over there.
Yeah. So it wouldn't have been a good fit or something. Even to some extent, I watched some of those Boston games. It looks like they might get frustrated with this guy sometimes too, Schroeder, because Schroeder's going to take his shot.
Yeah, he's going to shoot.
Yeah. He's going to take his shots. So they really needed like a pass first guy.
Agreed.
At one point, the Knicks were looking at Anthony too. They were looking at him too, looking at Cole Anthony.
Who you got to have right now, Cole Anthony or Kemba?
Oh, today it'll be Cole Anthony.
Yeah, if you go by tonight's game.
Right, exactly.
I would say with the Knicks in terms of their point guards, as much as we dislike Alfred Payton, right? I wanted him out of there for the last two seasons, but the guy did play defense.
Yeah.
So now that's the biggest thing, right? Is we have a Tibbs-led team. Tibbs is not that creative on offense. And right now, I don't know if we have the defenders to play Tibbs-style defense. Who out there could defend? Mitchell Robinson is a decent defender. I think Julius Randle has improved defensively, but he's not like some defensive stopper. RJ Barrett got a little better, but he's not a defensive stopper. Who could guard anybody?
Right.
Not
Fournier is not known for his defense.
Todd Gibson.
Right? Fournier, he could score, but he's not a lockdown defender.
I will say
losing Bullock and Peyton in terms of defense, we're seeing it so far. It's a big loss defensively. We made up for it in terms of points.
Yeah.
But the defense right now, I don't know if Cole Anthony would have been going off, let's say, like this against Alfred Payton, as crazy as it sounds, right? Payton wouldn't have done anything offensively, but I don't think he would have had Cole Anthony out here running amok like this.
No, he would not have.
Rose is not a defender.
No.
That's why I said don't be surprised if late in the season you start seeing McBride and Grimes get more minutes because those dudes play defense.
Oh, yeah, they're tough.
Eventually, Tibbs is going to say, I got to get somebody quickly. He's not a defender.
No.
I don't know what's going on with him. I like Quickly, but he looked like he out there trying to basically safeguard his minutes because he know those rookies we just drafted is coming.
That's what I kind of think of with him too. I think the guys that it's sad to say, I think the guys that they drafted are Tibbs guys. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, they're more like hard-nosed defenders, and
so eventually when he gets his chance, he's gonna move those guys in and try to move these other guys out. Because you look at those guys, you watch in the preseason and the summer league, those dudes defend, they play strong, they play hard, and they really get after it. Even the center dude too, he's tough.
like,
Sims,
I would say with this current team, the way it's constructed, I would say Grimes would actually be more effective with this current team. The way they're playing, he would be more effective than RJ Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And not even because he's a better player. I don't think he's a better player at all than RJ Barrett. But the way they play, he would be more effective.
well, he can do what they need him to do. He can shoot and he can defend.
Yeah, exactly. He's 3-and-D. That's exactly what they need. RJ is more of a slasher.
Yeah, they don't need that. They need somebody to catch the ball, shoot it, and defend. Yeah, you're right. He would be.
He would be more effective.
Yeah. Yep, he definitely would. I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, McBride starts sneaking in there, getting minutes for defense too.
Yeah, he's eventually the whole Kemba Walker, and I love both of them, Rose and Kemba, but eventually Tibbs gonna say, I need a point guard in there who can stop somebody.
Yeah, we need to stop. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to, and you gotta work them in during the season because you can't expect that in the playoffs. You're just gonna throw them in there.
Right.
Do that, but they're gonna get a shot. And now with Mitchell out, you're gonna see more Sims.
He limped back onto the court, but and played some in the second half. But who knows? That could just be adrenaline, right? That brought him back.
That could be
the severity of the injury. But Mitchell, to me, as much as I like him, Mitchell is kind of clumsy. Yeah. So I think he's kind of prone to these type of things. But I do think he's gotten a lot stronger because I see some of these offensive moves he made, some of these dunks and stuff. He wouldn't have did that last year. He had the He had the athletic ability to do it, but he's gone through people now.
Right. I agree with you on that.
And before he wouldn't have been able to do that. So I'm seeing him doing the whole flex thing. I think they call him flex now. Mm-hmm. So I like what I'm saying, but he's still a bit clumsy.
Yeah, he's a little bit injury prone, man. That's what it is. Some guys like that, man.
And plus, is he doing anything that Sims can't do? Because those same alley-oops, we know Sims could catch them, if not better. Sims is an athletic monster himself.
Yeah.
I think Mitchell, maybe right now, I would say is probably a better defender than Sims. Shot blocker anyway.
Right.
Yeah, he is. I will say this. I think the Sims dude is stronger than Mitchell right now. I think the first day coming in, he was stronger. That Sims dude is strong as hell.
Yeah, he might be the strongest dude on the team.
He's manhandling people.
Yeah, he's a strong dude.
Yeah, he's not no little kid. But Theo, it's your time to give us some of these great ones or something. What you got for us today?
Well, that's what I got a question. I have maybe two or three. Name your top three starting point guard, backup point guard combos in NBA.
Mm-hmm. Right now, today, starters and backups. Well, one is eliminated. I would tell you Kyrie and his backup, but you can't say that because you got to actually be playing.
Right.
I actually like, and we just spoke about him for a while. I like the Knicks. I like the pairing of Kemba and Rose. Mm-hmm. Defensively, they struggle, but I like that pairing overall.
I got an interest in one. I don't know if y'all count him as the point guard. I don't know if you got to. Luka and Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, of course. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Jalen Brunson. Who else?
What about CP3 and Payne?
Payne, yeah, I was thinking
that's another good one. Yeah.
You could go harder than Patty Mills, man.
Yeah. Harden and Patty Mills is a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Let me see.
But I like Jalen Brunson a lot, though. I'm a big Jalen Brunson fan. He's heady, man. I like a guy like that who's heady and smart, make clutch shots.
I was watching the Dallas game, and they were saying, I didn't realize that he shot the highest field goal percentage out of any guard in the NBA last year.
Yeah, he's a smart player. He don't take,
he don't take bad
shots.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He don't take bad shots.
Good for him. You remember his father, Rick?
Yeah, Temple, of course. Yeah, he was solid.
Yeah.
Son was better though.
Yeah.
Son was better than college and pro.
Yeah, he was. He was.
He was college and pro. I'm gonna ask you a question about the top 75.
Okay.
I'm gonna name like maybe 5 names, and what you guys say, do they stay or should they, or can they be removed? Steve Nash.
Okay.
No,
Is Steve Nash removable? Yes or no?
You know what?
I think he belongs there, Steve Nash.
I think he's got to stay, but I think he's got to stay because they ripped Kobe Bryant off. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Robert Parrish.
I mean, he might be able to come off. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, he was part of like a lot of what's happening now is guys that have been a part of winning teams are getting more accolades. Like he's good, but
he was good. Robert Parrish was very good.
He was very good, but dude, like think about it this way: can you have Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale both on there?
Like you said, you start thinking about it from the team success perspective more so than it's nostalgia at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
How about that? Okay, can y'all get you finished?
I think I might have to take Robert Parrish off. I think he's possibly removable.
How about maybe 2 more? How about Dame Lillard?
You know what? I don't think we can just because he's been consistent all his years. But if you factor in winning, like I don't think he's a good leader, and he's definitely not. I don't see him as a really. He wins, but like he's kind of in between guy. You know what? I'll be honest with you. It wouldn't hurt me if he was removed.
Right.
Because it's not impossible. Because realistically, like, don't get me wrong, he scores a little more than Klay Thompson, but he don't do anything else more than Klay Thompson does, right? And
Klay better shooter.
Is a toss up.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm a big Dame fan, but that one is a toss up.
Yeah, he could get removed.
Last one is Carmelo.
Oh man.
No, I think Carmelo got to stay.
Like, you know
that's
what?
not even because I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah, that's a personalized thing.
Carmelo was out there killing people for a long time.
Carmelo's got to stay. But you know what? You know who Carmelo is? Carmelo is Dominique Wilkins.
Truth be told, they might have jerked Carmelo, and I hate to say it, they might have jerked Carmelo out of that Rookie of the Year too.
Yeah, with LeBron
made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And his numbers was just as good as LeBron's, if not slightly better, right?
Agree, it was.
So they might have jerked him out of that. That might have been one of those, if anything, make it a co-Rookie of the Year thing, but we know they wasn't going to do that.
Yeah, that's the one time Jason Kidd Grant Hill exception?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. The last part I got for us is a 3-on-3 neighborhood basketball game.
Okay.
Everybody in their prime. It's Pat Ewing, Bernard King, Allen Houston.
Okay.
Gives Dave Robinson, Kawhi Leonard, George Gervin.
Well, let's see, Dave.
Don't be biased. Oh, you can be biased if you want. You can be biased. It's all good.
You know what? I got to go with the Spurs. You know why? I think all those, well, not Gervin, but I think Kawhi and David Robinson defensively would do a better job against Ewing and Bernard King. Bernard King is a great scorer. I think he's definitely, like, people won't give him the credit. He's definitely a better scorer than Kawhi. Like, Kawhi is a better athlete, but Bernard King was phenomenal at scoring. I just don't know about the defense part of it for Bernard King.
Mm-hmm.
And Ewing and Robinson might be a wash on the at least early Ewing anyway.
Right.
Been a wash on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Robinson, for the long haul, was a better defender.
Right.
Yeah, for me, being a Knicks fan, I would still probably go with the Spurs on this one, based on a lot of what you just said, and based on and this is a street ball game, you said?
Yeah.
The reason why I say that, like I'm thinking about Allen Houston. I don't know about Allen Houston in a street ball game. Now, if you told me Latrell, then maybe. But I don't know about Allen Houston in a street ball game.
Yeah, Allen Houston on
him without a ref, I don't know.
Tough matchup. Yeah, that's Allen Houston on George Gervin. Oof.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
well,
happy
you know,
about the Spurs on this one as a Knicks fan.
me too. But to be fair, George Gervin cannot stop Allen Houston.
No, he couldn't. He couldn't.
George Gervin can't stop Allen Houston.
He couldn't. He couldn't. But I will tell you this. I think that would be some tough matchups. That would be some real tough matchups. Or something.
Yes, I agree.
I think live in a street game, it might be hard for Ewan to stop David Robinson on a street game because Robinson was a lot quicker than Ewan was.
Very, very. And plus, he's lefty too. So he has that left-hand advantage too.
Yeah,
when the majority of people in the league is right-handed, he's lefty.
Yeah, but I think that would be a good game. That would be a real good matchup.
Mm-hmm.
A real good matchup because Bernard at one point Bernard King was the Knicks. People don't really
unguardable, man.
And then when they discarded him, remember you went over there to Washington at the time of the Bullets, and
he still balled out.
You know who I think would have gave people some problems as a three-man matchup in their prime in terms of street ball? What about like a combo of like Iverson, Stackhouse, and DC?
Oh, that would have been tough.
That's a team that I could see, because some of these players, I don't know if they could play street ball.
Yeah, some of them look like they was all gym dudes. I know what you mean, that they only played in the gym.
Like Allen Houston, I love him, but I don't know if he could actually play in the streets.
I'll tell you this. If we had to choose out of these two guys, who would you, if you had to pick out of KD or LeBron in a street ball game, who would you choose?
KD in the street ball game. I think LeBron got some of that street element in him, but KD, I think, is more,
yeah, like
more of a street ball type of dude than LeBron is.
So we seen it. We seen KD in the Rock, KD and Dykeman. We seen him put the ball on the floor, take people, make moves, and live that.
Right.
I think LeBron could play it, but for one thing, the street crowd is animals. You could be LeBron, but not in that street game. I don't think you go out there and Dykeman, you play them dudes. They're like, oh yeah, let's stop playing because it's LeBron.
Maybe if you swap out with the next one, you swap out Allen Houston with Starberry or something, we might
y'all win.
Yeah, because Starberry could play some street ball.
Yeah, y'all will win, and he'll lead that team too. He'll be all over. Yeah, you put Marbury in there, it'll be different.
Reem, your three guys, man. If they're in college, I would love the DC and Stackhouse, Iverson. The college version of the three guys, it sounds crazy, man.
Yeah. People don't know that Syracuse team was crazy with DC, Billy Owens, Steven Jack, Red Autry. They had one of the best college teams ever.
Syracuse produced a lot of good college players. I don't know about pros though, but college-wise, they produce a lot of good players, man.
It's funny because all these different schools used to produce certain types of players. Like at one point, remember Georgia Tech was the point guard school. Listen, we had North Carolina was turning out two guards and threes. Georgetown was centers.
That's true.
Yeah, you knew it was going to come from these schools. All that stuff, I think, kind of went away or something.
Yeah.
Once
the games changed, it did.
Yeah, because you knew if you like. People don't realize quietly. Think of how many small forwards from Arizona made the league. Like almost every single one for maybe 6, 7, 8 years straight. Dating from Sean Elliott, all of those guys made it through. Richard Jefferson, Arizona, a lot of threes in the game.
Right. Yeah, you know what? Arizona produced a lot of NBA players, man.
Yeah.
Arizona, man.
Yeah, they did.
They did. Miles Simon played. Mike Bibby.
Yep.
Played.
Jason Stoudemire, right?
Yeah, Jason Terry.
Jason
Terry. And that kid too, Williams. He had a brief stint. The Williams kid who could dunk, athletic. He could play.
They had a lot.
Sean Elliott. Remember Sean? Yeah, Sean Rooks played for a couple of years. Yeah, going on. Joe Bushler for the Chicago Bulls. He got chips.
Yep.
Steve Kerr. Listen, see, they got it, man.
A lot of players come from there. A lot of these schools quietly are small. People don't realize they turned out a lot of players. I mean, you got to figure. You look back. What's in Villanova always turned out hardcore players, like real top.
Yeah,
hard-nosed players. That's been part of everything for years.
That's Philly style. That's toughness.
Yeah. UConn used to turn out a lot of guards and players.
Yes.
Think about it. These dudes had Kimber, Rip, Ray Allen, Ben Gordon. Dude, they had a stretch. Like A lot of people.
Shabazz too.
Yeah, she bad.
Andre
Yeah.
Drummond went to UConn. People don't even realize that.
Yeah. Did you say Khalil Alameen? Remember him?
Well, I mean, they had another forward. Remember Daniel Marshall? And those dudes were good too.
Yeah.
I never cared for the other dude though too much, Donnie Marshall.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Yeah. Danielle was nice though.
Yeah, Daniel was good.
Yeah, Karan Butler over there. People sleep on that, man.
Butler, yeah. These schools turned out players. Like it was like blue blood schools. You always knew Duke. Everybody knew Duke was going to turn out some players. But the funniest thing is, I always argue this with people. Duke is a hit or miss school. Like all Duke players don't do well in the league. Like they get in there. Like remember Elton Brand was the first one ever to leave early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was the first one ever to leave early. But there's been like some people that they didn't necessarily pan out to where they were. Some schools players don't pan out as much at all. Like remember, did Gonzaga have that dude that averaged 28 points a game or something?
Morrison?
Yeah,
Adam Morrison,
Yeah, Gonzaga had a couple of guys that was top players, but they don't
This guy had a long career, but in terms of Duke, JJ Reddick didn't really pan out, right?
Well, he led the league in college in scoring too.
Yeah, he was competing against Morrison that year, right? Where they both were going. And he had a great career in terms of longevity. Not a lot of guys can say,
they
lasted, 13, 14, 15 years. Whatever
if he wanted to now, yeah.
But he was supposed to be coming out. He was supposed to be a scoring machine.
Mm-hmm.
It just never happened.
Yeah.
Same thing with Morrison. Obviously, Morrison was even worse. Morrison couldn't even stick in the league.
No.
Duke got a couple players though.
Oh yeah, they got their shit. Yeah,
you got their shit. Top of my head, real quick, fella. I just wrote down Leitner, Grant Hill, Boozer, Elton Brand, Zion, Dang.
Yeah,
Dang was nasty.
Dang was tough.
He was tough. Jay Reddick. Jay Williams did. So he had the bike accident. Jay Williams.
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving. Kyrie. RJ Barrett.
These dudes.
Tatum and Bobby Hurley, he got hurt too in a car crash. So they had a good run, man.
A lot of these, at one point, Kentucky was NBAU, so they had a stretch with. Think about it. That one team with Anthony Davis and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Didn't every single one of those guys get drafted in the first round?
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, and then they had a couple of years where they had 3 and 4 dudes in the first round.
Yeah, John Wall, Boogie Cousins. Come on.
Yeah, John Wall. Yeah, and Cousins and Bledsoe. Remember, Bledsoe was with Cousins. Yeah, they had the crazy backup. They had
Devin Booker never started in Kentucky.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, never started.
Never started in Kentucky.
They had De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
Right?
Julius Randle.
Right?
Yeah, Julius Randle. Yep.
Bam Adebayo. They had a crew, man. They had a crew, man. Kid Gilchrist, a couple of people, man. The Jones didn't pan out too well. Left-handed kid named Jones. Got his name.
Yeah, I remember him. He was tough in college, but he didn't.
Right. He didn't pan in the NBA.
He went to Houston, I think. I got drafted by Houston or something.
Yeah, Brandon Knight. Was Brandon Knight going to Kentucky?
Yeah, he was on Kentucky too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those schools are tough. We don't see that really too much. Now it seems like the kids are all spread out, and then you got this whole overtime elite. You got the overseas thing, G League, all this different stuff. Now I think eventually college won't. They're gonna have to pay these guys real money or something.
Yeah, they are. Well, the parity is too spread out now. The parity, man. So it doesn't matter who you play for. They're gonna find you anyway.
Oh, I wanted to tell you something crazy too that I read, and you guys get a kick out of this. Huggins from West Virginia said that the top teams in college, the top leagues, should break off from the NCAA and create their own tournament. And my answer to that was, yeah, dude, you getting mad because you keep losing to Bowling Green and stuff like that in the first round, and you about to get fired. You shouldn't just be in a tournament of your own just because you can't get out of the first round losing to teams in mid-majors.
Right.
Team.
You
don't want to have to face those guys. Because think about it. If he loses to a big name school, nobody, all right, yeah, you lost to these guys. But the fact is West Virginia been getting their ass kicked in a tournament got everybody who God only knows. Think about when's the last time he got out the first round or the second round? They had that tall, dark-skinned dude, Xanax or whatever, Xana or whatever.
Right. I remember him.
Yeah, so
that's true.
he wants to take only elite teams and put them in a tournament themselves and not the other teams.
But let me add on to that though. You gotta pay those schools to come to your tournaments too. They ain't just like a phone call. Hey, homie, come play this tournament. That's it. You gotta pay these schools whatever they want. The asking price for a couple $100,000 or whatever it is, $250,000. You gotta pay these schools. So if you offering, Syracuse, Kentucky, and Georgetown, find a grand a piece, man. That's a lot of money, man, for a basketball tournament. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't generating revenue, how you gonna pay these schools, man? You gotta get some sponsors, some real sponsors, man.
Yeah, they don't understand. They don't understand that
Yeah.
part.
Oh, he doesn't really.
No, he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I do think college basketball still. I will say, I still like it. I still think it has a place, but I think they're gonna have to change some things.
Hey, pay the kids. That's it. We're doing it now with the NAL right now. They're doing it.
Yeah, they gotta pay. They gotta pay these kids.
Mm-hmm. They're doing it. This kid getting sponsors now from whoever car dealerships, pizza shops, whatever, clothing lines, whatever. They get telephone companies. They're all getting all getting gets a sponsorship now.
Yeah.
So good for them.
So guys, we're coming to the end, man. Any final words?
Knicks lost, but we still look good. Let's go Knicks. New York sports.
Congrats to Chauncey Billups for getting his first win as a coach for the Portland Trail Blazers. That feels good. I mean, Dak. Right now, Dak might not play next week against the Minnesota Vikings. So we have So if he ain't playing, you heard it here first on our show. So we hope he gets better. So maybe he needs 2 weeks off. We never know. He got that kind of ankle sprain. I don't know if it's high or low. So So having a week off for bye week is doing real good for right now. Other than that, man, college hoops coming real soon, man. Let's go college basketball, man. My number one sport, man. That's it, man. That's it. Can't wait.
And for me, I just gotta say, I'm rooting for anybody except for the Houston Astros.
For sure.
Again, we're saying painfully the Jets stink. Just when you thought it was bad, it couldn't get any worse. It got even worse today.
50 burger.
And the quarterback out, so I don't think it gets any worse. We officially might have hit rock bottom.
Is he hurt that bad? The quarterback, the young kid?
I'm not even sure yet, but that's probably the worst loss we're gonna see this whole season. They done hit rock bottom or something. Mm-hmm. So this is just official. This is my last word. The Jets are on the clock.
Robert Saleh, right?
Waiting for April.
This is two your best players, you know what I'm saying, and trade the D tackle.
I heard Williams. Marcus May too.
Marcus May, trade him, man, to somebody, man, and get those draft picks and just reload, man.
Yeah,
you got to do it, man.
Yeah, it's done. It's not. They're not even competitive.
Right.
Who would have thought when he said all gas, no brake, that he was talking about the other team?
They all gassed us up. It was all gas. Yeah, but thanks again, guys, man. It was great talking to you guys about sports, man.
Yeah, always.
Guys, again, man. Everybody have a great evening.